Welcome back to The Queer Gaze. We are talking with the writing and directing team behind Extremely Unique Dynamic. And gentlemen, we would love it if you would introduce your characters, yourselves, and the world of the film in a kind of nutshell.
Hi, I am Ivan Long,
I'm Harrison Xu.
and we are the filmmaking team of Extremely Unique Dynamic. I play a bunch of characters, and Harrison also plays a bunch of characters.
Did you forget your names?
My name is Daniel, and you're Ryan. I just wasn't sure how many layers of meta should we go to, so that's my excuse.
So I play Ryan, who plays Tim, who plays Jake in this movie. And my character is about to be moving from LA to Canada. And in their final weekend together, these two best friends decide to make a movie about two guys making a movie about two guys making a movie.
And it's a queer Asian meta stoner coming of age romantic comedy. And my name is Daniel and Greg with two G's, and also Jasper.
And the film is utterly delightful. It's out now on VOD, so if people are just watching this interview casually, you should absolutely seek it out. But I wonder if we can begin, because Conrad and I kind of read a couple of the interviews you've already given from, the film festival circuit and in the lead up to the VOD release. We wanted to know, how much of your real life friendship are we seeing on screen in Daniel and Ryan's relationship? Like, how much of that is actually you two and how much is created for the narrative?
I think these are heightened versions of ourselves. We are, really good friends, and we've known each other for a long time. Not 20 years, but 12 years. We met in acting class. There are certain scenes in the movie that are real, that play off of things that actually happened, like Ivan making me get high and do his taxes for him, and it didn't go well.
No. The thing about that is Harrison was the one that said, Ivan, you don't need to hire an accountant. Just do your taxes by yourself. Let me show you. And then he was supposed to show me. He came over, he ate an edible, and then he just passed out, and I had papers all over the place, and I just had to figure it out myself. That's actually what actually happened.
Well, you told me to, and I was like, this is a bad idea, and I did it because I'm a good friend. So do you want to continue on that answer and say what else is real and what's fake about our friendship in the movie?
The thing about Harrison is Harrison's really good at making points and also like arguing and making him sound like he's right and I'm wrong. So I hopefully you listeners, you're listening to this, don't fall for it because I'm genuine.
You didn't answer the question still.
What was the question? I got angry.
How much of this is your real selves and how much is fictional?
I would like to say maybe like 70%, 68% of it is our real selves, and some of the rest is acting.
That's good. What do you think of the benefits of the two of you being so hands-on in the writing and the direction, and even, I believe, funding this film? How did it shape the finished film?
It shaped it a lot because we had full creative control, and we don't really get that a lot. We didn't have to listen to other people's opinions, but we did because we are very communicative and we are very collaborative, and we wanted to make sure that every person in the team had a word and a saying. So we had a lot of input from the people that we trusted, and it was just nice that we could just be the one that could prove everything ourselves.
Yeah, and also it's our first time directing and writing a project. Ivan and I have both been professional actors for over the last 10 years plus. And when you're an actor, you usually show up on set, you do your part, you go, and then you don't really hear back until the project is out in the world. And you only live with it for such a short period of time. But Ivan and I, we started the process in making this film in February of 2023. So we're about to hit the 2-year point. And when you write it, direct it, produce it, act in it, it's kind of your baby, and you can't really go more than an hour without thinking about it, because if we're not pushing the film forward, no one is. So in that sense, it has been a lot of work, but also really rewarding because we've been able to really see everything grow.
Yeah, we have the control of our destiny when we have we have it, and if it fails, then we only have ourselves to blame.
High stakes, but I mean the response has been kind of rapturous. So I think you mostly pulled it off.
Yeah.
Can feel like you spent the last 2 years well spent.
Thanks.
So we're a queer podcast and YouTube channel, so we do have to ask an obligatory queer related question. So we wanted to know about the acknowledgement that Ivan, your character, is queer in the film, and you broach the subject of being in love with Ryan, but of course that's not actually the case. You're just queer and you haven't told him. And we're actually really appreciative that you don't go down that route of, oh, queer person who's in love with their best friend, because it is so freaking tropey.
Mhm.
But we wanted to know, like, were there other drafts of the screenplay where that was more of a focal point, or did you get any pushback or feedback that said, like, oh, shouldn't you be pursuing this angle to make it more of a queer film?
To be honest, even in the movie, I wasn't the one that broached the subject of being in love with Harrison, his character. Actually, Harrison's character was the one that said that to my character, uh, assuming that I would be in love with him. And also, Harrison was the one that what broached the subject of maybe there was a romantic thing, and I did not. But to be honest,
And
in all seriousness, in all seriousness,
This look that I'm getting from Harrison is like, wait, what? I never
I'm
did
like, this is
this.
news to me, but keep going.
in all seriousness though, like yes, it is tropey, but also like in real life there are a lot of straight friendships, gay straight friendships, and we've never really explored that. Just because you're best friends with someone that is straight or a different sexuality doesn't mean that you're in love with them. Like friendship is friendship. And it's an interesting thing that I don't think I see a lot of representation on film a lot, or I can't even think of uh, one at all, to be honest, that really dives deep into this. So like, it was just really nice to explore, and it's nice because like a lot of my friends are straight, and I want to make more queer friends, and I just need to get put myself out there more. But like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, it kind of reflects my life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that storyline too also stemmed from our own experiences. Like I went to an all guy school in high school, and it was interesting because back then, no one had come out in my grade, and I just went back to my high school to show the movie, and it's a completely different landscape now in schools where it is a lot more accepting. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because the conversation that we have in the film about them not ever discussing Danny's sexuality, I feel like this movie I wish I had when I was a kid, because it would have given me a better understanding of how to be there for your friends, and just make it more comfortable in those situations for people to come out, because I think back when I was in high school, there really weren't those resources, and no one felt comfortable being in their own skin.
Yeah, it's very true. I love the way that you use the metatextuality of the film to explore some of these issues in an interesting and engaging way that doesn't feel overdone. It's metatextuality is often used to make an audience sort of step out of the drama and really think more critically about either the film or the situation, or just to parody tropes, as we've discussed. What was your main goal in terms of the Russian doll of layers of metatextuality in this film?
Well, I think for me, the meta was just to get the points across that we wanted to get across without it feeling on the nose, but in a way but it is on the nose. But because it's our characters talking about it, or sorry, our characters talking about it, and not our characters talking about it, then it's like, oh, okay, like they're not just saying it for the sake of saying it, and it doesn't feel like, oh, like eye roll. But because it's their characters talking about it, but not really fully understanding why they're saying it, is what I think makes it interesting. Or even the characters hiding behind their characters, where there's that scene where we're on the porch and we're having a conversation, and it hits really close to home. And I think both characters, or my character, like knows what's happening but doesn't want to admit it, so he's hiding behind the layers of his character. I think that's what allows for these really honest conversations between these characters, because they're saying it without like feeling like they're completely vulnerable.
And for me, if you're listening to this, I did not understand that at all either. Um, whatever just Harrison said. But like echoing what just Harrison said. I mean, like to be able to talk through a character because it's not actually you, it's a lot easier to relay what you want to say because it's not as scary. You're kind of you're hiding behind a character, so like you can actually say what you're actually feeling. And because I mean, like because we're also guys, we don't really talk about our feelings, and having just a way to express yourself without feeling like with that buffer, it helps, and yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt that it's also extremely funny. So you're able to get the laughs, but then also the sincerity and the vulnerability at the same time.
Yeah, it's really moving, that scene.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's probably my favorite scene in the whole thing because it's
Yeah.
when the movie up until then is pure comedy, and then you're like, oh wait, like, am I supposed to be laughing? Oh wait, this is kind of serious.
Yeah, exactly. It's very,
Yeah.
very effective. Okay, so obviously we're interviewing the two of you, but there is a third person in the mix. So we've got Catherine Dudas, who also co-wrote and co-directed the film. And we were just wondering if you can talk a little bit about your collaboration. How did it work as a three-person kind of unit?
Yeah, Catherine was super instrumental in helping put this film together. So how the initial process started was Ivan and I came up with this idea, and we wanted to shoot this movie about friendship, and the meta layers had already been included, and we wanted to shoot this film with a lot of improv as well. And at the time, I actually got served a TikTok where it was Catherine talking about how she had just shot her film in a way that we had wanted to shoot it. So we just DM'd her on TikTok and we're like, hey, do you want to be a part of our film? I met her for coffee. I told her about the project and she was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Like, it's very similar to my last film. I already know how to do it. So then we brought her onto the team. So we already had the script written, but she helped shape it. And then on set, it was really nice having her as that third director because, and also I know like three directors is very unconventional for a film. And for us, because we're also in almost every scene together, we really wanted that third person that had experience already on a similar shoot be the eyes behind so that she can really monitor what was going on in the scenes and provide feedback. And we also had a producer, Noel Domarkami, who was super instrumental in that as well. Because sometimes when you're in everything, you get tunnel vision, and it is nice having that extra person there providing feedback.
You mentioned in the film, and it's a very funny point you make, that I would never have realized that the two of you as actors, or the two characters, often find themselves auditioning for the same roles in movies. And I was wondering whether this film has helped to start that conversation a little more and open doors a little more.
I mean, like we're starting to get more people noticing us, and it's really really nice. Right now, like we're still trying to create our own opportunities to show off that, like, we can do more than being the stereotypical hacker or stereotypical nerd or villain or bad guy or super hot hunk with the six-pack abs and the pecs and the nice jawline. But like there's still not a lot of opportunities to have like more than one Asian person on the thing, because having two Asian people could make it seem like, oh, you know, it's an Asian movie. But that's not necessarily true, like we just want to be seen as more of like an all around human with complex feelings and emotions and points of views than what we're used to.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, because your question about us auditioning for the same parts, has that changed or how's that evolved? I feel like still nowadays, when there's a part for an Asian male between 20 and 30s, we're often still both going out for it, regardless of what the character description is. Like, it could be like hunk, it could be nerd, whatever. Like, we're going out for it just because there aren't enough Asian parts out there, and there still isn't like a pool of Asian actors that casting directors see that are really differentiated. So like Ivan and I, we made this movie to show, and we say this in the movie too, that we're two very different people, but we're still getting a lot of the same opportunities. And I'd love to hopefully get to a point in the industry where we're not auditioning for the same roles, because people are like, oh yeah, like Harrison is this type, Ivan is this type. But I don't think we're fully there yet, but I think we have made big strides. And once we've gotten enough Asian writers, Asian directors, or Asian stories out there where there are enough nuanced roles for all of us, then I think we can start picturing people in different roles rather than just being like Asian role, then like every Asian person goes after it.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I'm sneaking in one additional sort of wrap-up question. Can you offer us a tease of what you might have in the works? Like, are you two collaborating on something new because those opportunities just haven't presented themselves yet? Or is it kind of like, this is still your baby, you've got to continue to roll this out? Like, what's next for the two of you?
We just had the opportunity to act together for a horror movie directed by Shayna Aiden called Near Death. As for other projects, we'd be totally open for it. We're thinking about a TV series or just doing something. I just would love to keep on working with Harrison because it was just such a really fun opportunity, and I feel like we care about different things. So like things that Harrison does not really care about, I care about, and things that I care about, he doesn't really care about. So we just complement each other really well. So it was just a really good time. Aside from all the mean things he says about me,
You can ignore Ivan's last sentence because I'm so nice to him. But I would say this movie has, like I mentioned, kind of taken over our lives the last 2 years, and I think we're finally nearing the finish line. Our movie just came out on digital January 29th, so you can rent it and buy it online. That was kind of like the last checkpoint, and everything after that, like we still have a little things here and there to wrap up, but now that the movie's out there, we can fully focus our efforts on working on the next project, because it is really hard to be fully creative when you're constantly thinking about this film, and every time you're starting to write, you get pulled back into this. So I would say like over the next couple of months, after taking a little bit of a break and just relaxing a little bit, we can dive back into writing another script.
Oh, also, we just got nominated for a Queerty Award for Best Comedy Film. So if anyone wants to, press that button and want to vote for us and want to see more of us, please do.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll share the link.
Yes, please.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.